Good morning, boys. This is the last CRJ and CBJ combination exercise that we are going to do. So by now you need to know what you are doing, and I'm going to try to go through it a little bit faster than I did with exercise 29. Okay, so it's for the same company. It's again W. Gietel, who is the owner of live concerts, and he is a DJ who plays music for all occasions. According to his receipt book and check counterfoils, these are the transactions that took place for the month of September 2009, and you have to record the transactions into the CRJ and the CPJ. Okay, so what is important here is that receipts or the receipt book is always used in the cash receipts journal, so that's a way that you can identify that a transaction goes to the CRJ. And check counterfoils are the source documents that we use for the cash payments journal. So if we pay, we give the company that we are paying the check, and we keep what we call the check counterfoil. So that's a way that you can identify a transaction has to be recorded in the CPJ. I just want to remind you that every transaction can only be recorded in one journal. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do is we have to go and give our journals headings. It will be the cash receipts journal of live concerts for September 2020. I think I made it 2020 because in your books it didn't specify 2009, but that's not the end of the world, and it's CRJ number 9. Same with the CPJ. It's the cash payments journal of live concerts for September 2020, and therefore it's CPJ number 9. Okay, let's go through the transactions. The first one was on the 1st of September. It said issued a receipt. I want you to highlight the word receipt. That immediately tells you it's a cash receipts journal transaction. The receipt number is 23 to R. Rich to play at her wedding, 4,500 Rand. And this will be current income for the business because we rendered a service. Okay, let's go to the CRJ. It will be receipt number 23 on the 1st to RH. We will put the 4,500 Rand into analysis of receipts, and because it's the only transaction for the day, we can bank that value, and it was for a DJ gig, so it goes to current income. The next transaction is also on the 1st, but in this case we paid, and I want you to highlight that word. Okay, the moment when we pay, it goes to the cash payments journal. It's in the journal's name. Okay, so this is a CPJ transaction. We paid 400 Rand to Music Mate for smoke liquid. They told you it's material costs. And the check counterfoil number is number 118. Okay, so this is a CPJ transaction. The document is number 118. Okay, because it was check counterfoil number 118. It's on the 1st. We are paying Music Mate. The value must go to bank, and they specified for us that smoke liquid is material costs. Okay, but there is no material costs column. So what do? We skip all of these columns and we write it in sundry accounts. Please remember that a value must only go to bank and to one other column. Some of you get so happy you write the value in every single column that there is, which is also wrong. Okay, then on the 2nd, we issued a receipt. Highlight the word receipt. That tells you it's the cash receipts journal to SS Functions, 3,500 Rand. Now, this is a little bit vague, but I think this is just for a DJ gig, so it will be current income. They didn't tell you what the receipt number is, but the previous receipt was 23, so this is 24. It's on the 2nd, SS Functions. It's the only transaction for the day, so the value goes to analysis and bank. It was for a function, so it also goes to current income. Then on the 2nd, we wrote out a check. Okay, so the word check tells you it's a CPJ transaction to Copy Center for business cards. Okay, 250 Rand. Now, if we record it in the CPJ, it will be check number 119 because the previous one was 118. It's on the 2nd. We are paying Copy Center. The value must go to bank, And business cards counts as stationery for the business. Okay, that's very important. Some of you might not have known that. It's not marketing. Okay, marketing is when we pay for an advert or when we have a promotion or something. But in this case, business cards counts as stationery for the business. So it goes to sundry accounts. Then on the 3rd, we cashed a check. Okay, so check tells you it's CPJ for wages, 350 Rand. Okay, so it will be check number 120 on the 3rd. Please remember that the details when we cash a check is always cash. Don't write wages in this details column. Okay, then it goes to bank and then it must go to wages, and there's no wages column, so take it to sundry accounts. Then on the 5th, we received 2,000 Rand from J. Jones for playing at his 21st, and a deposit was received from R. Rees for 3,500 Rand. Okay, now this is important. We received 2 different amounts from 2 different customers, and we will issue each one of them their own receipt. The reason why this is important is because now we've got 2 transactions in the CRJ on the same day, and that will affect when we bank the money from analysis of receipts. Let me show you. So in your CRJ, the first one would be receipt number 25 to J. Jones, who paid us 2,000 Rand for playing at his 21st, but it's not the only transaction for the day, so we don't bank yet. Leave this block blank. We have to specify what the money was received for. It's for rendering a service, so it goes to current income. Then the next receipt will be 26. It's still on the 5th, so don't write anything here. You can leave this empty. It's on the same date. We received a deposit from R. Rees of 3,500 Rand. We put the money in our till, and now, because this is the last transaction for the day, we can cash up. Or in other words, we can total all of the money in our till and deposit it as one amount into the bank account. Okay, remember this. And then we still have to specify what we received the 3,500 Rand for. It was for current income because it relates to our DJ services. Then on the 6th, P. Porter accepted a quote and paid 50% deposit. Okay, now this is confusing because you read the word paid, but you would have noticed that P. Porter is not the owner of the business. So you must assume that P. Porter is a customer who accepted a quote from W. Gietel, who is the DJ, our owner. Okay, and he paid 50% of the deposit. Okay, so this is a CRJ transaction. It's not a CPJ transaction. Don't get confused. We are not paying. We are receiving the payment. Okay, but we're not receiving the full payment, so you have to divide 3,700 Rand by 2. Be careful. There's another transaction for this day. It says SS Functions made another payment. Okay, so SS Functions is one of our clients, and they make another payment of 3,500 Rand. So both of these transactions are CRJ transactions. If we record them, we will issue receipt number 27 to P. Porter, who's paying us 1,850. I got that by dividing 3,700 by 2. Don't bank yet because it's not the only transaction for the day. So skip this bank column and write it in current income. And then we issue receipt number 28, still on the 6th, so don't write the date again. It's to SS Functions, who's paying us 3,500 Rand. We put the money in our till, and now because this is the last CRJ transaction for the day, we total all of the money that we've got in analysis of receipts, and we deposit it as one value into bank. And that 3,500 was for current income. Okay, then on the 7th, P. Porter paid the balance owing. Okay, so this transaction relates to the transaction on the 6th. On the 7th, P. Porter now paid the rest or the other 50% of the 3,700 Rand. Okay, so we are still receiving money from P. Porter. We will issue receipt number 29 on the 7th. and now he's just paying the remaining 1,850. It's the only transaction for the day, so you can write the value in bank and it goes to current income. Then on the 8th, we issued a receipt. Okay, so that tells you it's a CRJ transaction to F. Fraser for 2,300 Rand. If they don't specify, I don't like it that they don't specify, and we will be we will give you more detailed transactions in a test, but if they don't specify, you can just assume it's for current income. Okay, so here we go. It would have been receipt number 30 on the 8th to F. Fraser. The value goes to analysis and bank and current income. Next one. On the 9th, R. Rick hired lighting from live concerts and we issued a receipt. Okay, so now we are renting out some of our lights, which is part of the service that we rendered. So it's still CRJ, still current income. In the CRJ, it will be receipt number 31 on the 9th to R. Rick, 550 goes to bank and to current income. Then on the 11th, we cashed a check. The word check tells you it's CPJ for fuel. Okay, so now we are just paying for fuel. Goes to the CPJ. The check must follow on the previous check that we issued, so it will be 121. It's on the 11th. Whenever we cash a check, we write cash in details. The value was 700 Rand, and there is a fuel column, so write it in the fuel column. Don't write it in sundry accounts and say it's for fuel. Okay, that's unnecessary and wrong. There is a fuel column. Then on the 12th, we paid. Okay, so now we are the ones paying, okay, by check. So that tells you this is a CPJ transaction for a microphone, which would be equipment, issued to Music Mate, 1,575 Rand. So it will be check number 122. On the 12th, we are paying Music Mate 1,575 Rand for a microphone, which is part of equipment. And then the last one on the 17th, check number 123, issued to Cardies for a client gift. Okay, now this is marketing. We're sending a client a gift. Okay, so we are basically trying to convince the client to buy from us by giving him a gift. So that counts as marketing. It's a CPJ transaction because there was a check. 123 on the 17th, we are buying this gift from Cardies. The value goes to bank and it goes to marketing. And that's it. Then just remember at the end to total your columns in the CRJ and in the CPJ. This exercise, in my opinion, was too easy. Okay, I think exercise 29 is a better exercise to see if you actually understand this section of work.